Do you feel that the ocean has perhaps some sort of personality, a voice, a feeling of equilibrium which is felt or not felt in different moments? How do you picture the kind of heart of the ocean?
I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and I guess from two perspectives that are worth sharing. One is the the view that is held in the very deep-seated belief by so many Indigenous cultures that the ocean is a living, breathing entity, and that it holds history and that it holds our ancestors. And I think, that can seem like quite an unconventional idea to many people who see the ocean as something that you travel across and something that you swim in and something that you fish from. But when you kind of think about the ocean in the sense of deep time and the history of evolution, it is actually not so far-fetched at all. We all came from the ocean. If you consider time in a much broader kind of long-term context, we all did come from the ocean. We all are related to everything that's in the ocean. And it's a very different way of kind of perceiving what the ocean is. I think the other thing I've been thinking about a lot is the role that seamounts play in the way the ocean kind of functions and how ecosystems are supported within the ocean. And they are, typically in the deep ocean, mountains that rise up off the seafloor and are biodiversity hotspots and stepping stones and really important habitats for so many migratory species, but also cold water corals that are very delicate and very vulnerable to threats and grow over hundreds and hundreds of years. So, from those two perspectives, actually, it's very difficult to see the ocean as anything other than this enormous, expansive, significantly unknown, living, kind of breathing entity.
I love that idea of the breath of the ocean. How would you describe how the ocean breathes?
I think the sound of waves and the whole visual element of how waves work, I think when we sit and we watch those rather than being in them, and when we listen to them, it very much has the rhythm of a breath. Absolutely. And, it comes as no surprise, really, why so many people love the idea and love the practice of going to sleep listening to the ocean.
That's very true. I hadn't thought about it like that. And this podcast, it also speaks to creatives, so writers, artists, storytellers, as their very strong messages of science and policy, as you know. I know you've worked with cold facts, you've worked with big agreements, but if you were to personify the ocean in a way that inspires people to rethink how they relate to the ocean, how might you finish the sentence? The ocean is not just water, it's
I think the ocean is all of our stories, and the ocean holds all of our stories since the beginning of time, but it also holds very specific stories that are really close to so many people.
I'm Jess Caldry, and you're listening to episode 1 of Art Strategy Impact, the podcast bridging disciplines to reimagine how we live, build, and belong in harmony with nature.